Hello. Okay, so I really hope that everybody can hear me, and if you can't, I'm going to be so upset. But I wanted to come on live. Of course, stuff starts popping up as I do this. I wanted to come on live and just connect with you this way. I'm also going to, have this uploaded and saved for later. But I wanted to talk about one of my recent blog posts. So once this video is over, I'm going to share the link to the full post so you can read the plethora of information that is on there. And I have some notes. If you see me looking down, I did take some notes because I wanted to make sure I hit on key important facts. And sometimes I can really go off on a tangent and really get off topic. So I take notes to make sure I stay on topic. But what I wanted to talk about is our brains. So at Some Wellness, we talk about a holistic approach to health, and we cannot have a holistic view without talking about our brains. And it's such a fortunate fact that our brains can change and adapt. That's like their plasticity. It's their response. It's the brain's response to new activities and experiences. I think about this a lot, like in my personal life, about my daughter. See, she had a stroke while I was pregnant with her. And we didn't actually know about it. I mean, I started noticing when she was 4 months old that she wasn't using her right side as you would expect her to. And I said things to her pediatrician, and I was kind of blown off. And then finally at 2, we got a second opinion, and we found out that she in fact has right side paralysis, which she was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, which is kind of like an umbrella diagnosis for all kinds of different like physical, issues or whatever. And it's from that stroke. So she's got a piece of her brain that was damaged from her stroke. In any case, I learned, which I already kind of knew from, working in healthcare and knowing what I know about strokes. And I used to work at an amazing healthcare facility where I learned so much information. So I already know that our brains are able to adapt. I know from my experience as a yoga instructor and an avid meditator that we can retrain our brains. We can create new pathways and really retrain our brains. We can retrain our brains to be happier, to be less stressed. There's just so much we can do, and it's amazing. And we're so fortunate that that's the case. And for the case with my daughter, I feel really fortunate because we are able to kind of reroute around that damaged part of her brain and teach her brain, or create new pathways to teach her brain to remember that right side and to reuse that right side and to strengthen that right side. So I feel really fortunate that we have the ability to do that. And I touch on some key points of my blog post in this video, but I want you to go read the blog post because there's way more detail. There's links to the studies that I speak about in there and everything that I just couldn't obviously link to in a video. But knowing all that we know about our brain's ability to adapt and change and overcome, we can use this in our overall wellness. First of all, our physical activity. Regular physical activity can increase the formation of our new brain cells, and it minimizes the shrinkage of our brain, which kind of happens. It's a normal thing that happens as we age, but we can, with regular physical activity, decrease that process or slow that process. And so you're talking about with regular physical activity, you can help with dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. And it also slows over time, we kind of react slower. We lose our ability to communicate. It takes us longer to find words that we were once able to find really quickly. So we start to lose our communication, and regular physical activity can slow that process. And in some people, it stops the process. Unfortunately, it doesn't for everybody. So regular physical activity can improve the white matter in our brain. And the white matter is what helps us have faster, quicker responses to things. And it creates faster, quicker responses and connections in our brain. So more specifically, aerobic exercise helps to lower our blood pressure. And you know that high blood pressure increases your risk for stroke, so lower blood pressure decreases your risk for stroke. And I mention that specifically because we all know that a stroke risk is a really high risk for many of us. And obviously it holds a special place in my life and in my heart because my daughter did have a stroke. We don't know why she had one. We've done what we can and the tests and things that we can to find out why she had one, and we never had an answer. But we know that adults have strokes at a high rate, and a lot of times that is attributed to high blood pressure. So aerobic exercise helps lower our blood pressure, which lowers our risk for stroke, and it's healthy for our brains. So it's great. Anyways, picking up a new habit or a new hobby or learning something new can reinvigorate the neurons in your brain and create these new neural pathways. So I was talking about with my daughter, we are trying to create new pathways and essentially reroute around the part of her brain that was damaged from her stroke to help her learn new ways to use that right side of her body. So she remembers when she first started moving and stuff like that at 4 months, we noticed that she would reach with her left hand and not her right hand. And now she uses that right hand more. It used to just kind of be balled up in a fist and sit down by her side. And it's almost like she didn't even know that it was there. And now with physical therapy, we're retraining her brain and strengthening that right side. And she's using it more. And it's just amazing. It's so amazing what the brain can do. And we can do that for ourselves too with regular physical exercise, picking up a new hobby, learning new things. You're retraining those pathways and connections in your brain. It's amazing. So these new connections that you're creating by doing this new hobby and this new habit and your physical exercise helps the electrical impulses move quicker. So the more you do new things like this, the more you work out, the quicker you start picking up other new things when you create other new habits or new hobbies. So that's amazing too. And again, these things can all slow the process of aging, of your brain aging, and can improve your memory. So it's all coming back. It's all great. Anyways, so this next topic, I feel like it's kind of sensitive for people for many reasons. So it's talking about socialization. By nature, humans are social creatures and crave connection and interaction. And I may not be shy, but I am very much an introvert. I get drained by people. I get drained by being around people, specifically large crowds of people. And I get along with people and I'm not shy, but I don't enjoy being around a lot of people. And then there are people that feel like they aren't people. They don't like being around people. They hate people. I get it. However,
sorry, I don't understand.
My Google thing just talked to me. Anyways, however, instinctually, we are still social creatures that crave connection. And coming back to young children, because obviously my daughter is, the forefront of my brain, we know that socialization is crucial for young children. We know that it's important for them to learn how to get along with others and to share. It's also great for language development and learning how to speak. And social interaction is important in the same way, but for different reasons as it is for children. For adults, socializing through meaningful, healthy relationships is one of the 5 pillars of Some Wellness. So I talk about my 5 pillars all the time. Physical activity, nutrition, spirituality, career, and healthy relationships. When you have a meaningful, healthy relationship, that nourishes you. That's stuff that nourishes you beyond the plate. So beyond what you're eating, there are other things that nourish your body. That's why I say Some Wellness has a beyond the plate approach, because if those 5 things, if something's off in one of those 5 things, you're not going to be feeling fulfilled in your body and in your soul and in your heart. Something's going to feel off and you're going to constantly be searching. So socializing, when we're talking about healthy, meaningful relationships, socializing and having a good socialization with other people helps nourish that. I just want to make sure I hit on all my points because this one is really important to me. So even if you're socializing virtually, much like we are with this video, that's still great socialization. And right now, not to sound like I'm speaking highly of myself, but this is a great way to be virtually socializing with somebody. You're listening about how you can create health and wellness in your own life. And you can further that by starting a conversation with me. Send me a private message. Send me an email at stepontomymat@gmail.com. Write a comment in this video, whatever. Let's start a conversation. Let's have healthy conversations. Let's nurture a healthy relationship about wellness. These kind of socialization conversations that you have, whether it's virtually or in person, can improve your mindset and your attitude. You really are what you think. And I have at the bottom of my notes, let me find it. And I say this in my blog, and I always write much better than I speak, that science has shown us that the things that we think about and experience are key to forming new neural pathways in our brain and improving how our brains function. And there's, like I said at the beginning of this video, all the studies that I talk about are linked in the actual blog post, and I'll put that in the description of this video when we are done with. So you are what you think. So when you're having these healthy conversations, whether it's virtually or in person, and socializing with people, it's really great for your mindset and your attitude. Socialization can increase your intellectual performance and cognitive function by exercising your mind. Whew, don't you feel like right now? That is something we're really exercising. There's so many hot topics right now. The Black Lives Matter, the pandemic, politics. I mean, there's just so much that we are all exercising right now. The importance is to exercise the right things, right? And exercise it in the right way. And having these conversations, especially when it's virtually or when it's in text, whether it's text messages, emails, social media, when you're just reading text rather than having a one-on-one conversation with somebody, that really challenges your nonverbal cues with people. So obviously we can't read in text what we can read when we have an actual conversation with somebody. So it really challenges you in that sense and helps you grow. Number 4, because I did have 4 points, which I didn't start counting them, playing games. I think we all know this one. I feel like this is kind of an obvious, and that's why it's at the bottom out of the 4 out of 5, is playing games. So playing mind games, playing cards, playing something like chess, doing jigsaw puzzles, all of that is really great to stimulate your brain and boost your memory and sharpen your concentration. I don't want to stay too long on that, and there's not a big portion of that in the blog post because I just feel like that's obvious. Most of us know that. And the last one is something that I'm really passionate about, and it really is starting to kind of become mainstream, is meditation. There are thousands or hundreds or a ton of studies that you can find that talks about the effects of meditation on the brain. But you can alleviate, and I have personally, stress and anxiety through meditation. It's a time to take a break and recharge your brain, give your brain a break. The only problem that people have with meditation is that there's so many myths or misconceptions that people think about meditation. And I find it my goal, 1, to get people meditating, but 2, to help them understand that meditation is not about whiting out your brain and having absolutely no thoughts, because that is virtually impossible. Our brains are meant to think constantly. They're constantly doing stuff. Even when we zone off, when we're sleeping, whatever, they're always thinking and always going. But meditation is to help create space in between those thoughts and give us time to either relax or to think rather than react. Scientifically speaking, it can improve your white matter. So this was what I was talking about earlier, which is the increased white matter is what makes your connections faster and quicker and more clear and sharp and better. So meditation increases that. So obviously that has a huge effect on how you react to things and how you think about things and your concentration and your memory. It's amazing for all of that. Remember, when I'm done with the video, go back and look and read the full blog post after I post it, and you can see all the links and all the studies and much more detail of this video. In any case, that's all I want to say. This video is long enough. I hate long videos, and I don't know if you do too. If you felt like this was helpful, I'm shaking my table. If you felt like this was helpful, I would really appreciate for you to comment or to like. If you know somebody who may maybe benefit from this, please give it a share. I really appreciate it. And yeah, have a good day.